you affirm that the testimony you're about to give before the committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. All have affirmed.
From everything I've seen publicly disclosed about Cambridge Analytica, I am skeptical of the idea that its strategies of voter persuasion were unusually effective or contributed meaningfully to the election outcome.
Around noon.
Sure, I have nothing else.
On Senate time.
Facebook knew about Cambridge Analytica's scheme since 2015. Before the story broke, Facebook threatened to sue The Guardian and then banned me for whistleblowing. Responding on behalf of the British government, the UK Secretary of State for Culture called my ban outrageous, because it reveals the unrestrained power technology companies can exercise over ordinary citizens when a person's entire online presence can be so quickly and so thoroughly eliminated from existence. There is no check on this power, and it raises a serious question for Republicans and Democrats alike. What happens to our democracy when these companies can delete people at will when they speak out?
What issues and candidates?
So there was a network of PACs that I believe were primarily financed by Robert Mercer. That were...
Who else?
And then several senatorial and congressional candidates, I believe.
Any issues?
There were issue campaigns. So for example, John Bolton's PAC was, if you consider that an issue-based campaign, then that was an issue-based campaign.
Did Cambridge Analytica work for Russia or anybody connected with Russia while you were there?
We did not have a Russian client at the time that I was there.
Let me say, initially, Senator Harris.
The company learned that there were segments of the population that responded to messages like "Drain the Swamp" or images of walls, or indeed paranoia about the deep state, that weren't necessarily always reflected in mainstream polling or mainstream political discourse that Steve Bannon was interested in using to build his movement.
But your presentation on the issue of privacy.
Social media is not really a choice for most people. The internet is not really a choice for most people. It is very difficult to be a functioning member of the workforce or society and refuse to use the internet. I don't know a job that would let you go in and refuse to use Google, for example. I don't know, most hiring requires a LinkedIn profile now. So although we use this narrative of choice because someone's pushing a button, even if they had read the terms and conditions and understood it, they substantively don't really have a choice, because in the modern workforce, you have to use social media and you have to use the internet.
They don't really have other options.
Senator Durbin, Senator Hirono.
Thank you.
It's not a question of just informed consent. It's about, is it proportionate to the benefit that the consumer is getting? Is it reasonably expected in the future, if there's future developments in that technology, that the consumer did actually consent to that at the time? And more broadly, this narrative of consent is slightly problematic in the sense that when people have to use these platforms, it doesn't matter whether or not they understand. If they have to use it to get a job, they will still use it. And so we are sort of coercing and compelling people to hand over a lot of information, which not only now could be dangerous, but you have to imagine in the future also what the developments of technology, what developments we'll see moving forward, and what kinds of risks we'll be exposing to people 10 years from now when that data about them still exists.
Was one of his goals to suppress voting or discourage certain individuals in the United States from voting?
That was my understanding, yes.
Was voter suppression a service that U.S. clients could request in their contracts with Cambridge Analytica while Bannon was vice president?
Yes.